Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, man. We are back out here doing the Tracking Bass Movement series. I know it's been a while. The lake was super low. It got really muddy. It just got really funky out here. There was just basically no water in this creek to even do that series. But with that said, now it's 7 feet high and falling. So we're gonna get out here. We're gonna see if we can catch some bass today right here in the month of July, Tracking Bass Movement.
From the top of the mountain.
So we've had a lot of rain in July here. The lake is 7.11 feet high, I think. It's starting to fall. They got 10,000 cubic feet a minute going through it. We got 80-degree water temperature. It's still climbing. I just got here, so this is Blue Creek. This is just a creek that's fairly flat, really flat. The water's gonna go for days back up in these trees, but it's starting to fall, so it should be a good fishing day when that water's starting to fall, pulling some of those fish back out to this front edge. Water's clear, you know, really clear for Uligal. You know, the problem earlier in this Tracking Bass Movement series, it was chocolate milk in here, like muddy, and super low. Now all of a sudden we got a bunch of water, and for whatever reason it's clear, but you know, I got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 rods out this morning. I need to get one more. You know, I got a spinner bait, I got a jaywalker, I got a frog, got a buzz bait, and I got a flipping rod. So I think it's gonna be power fishing 101. I think it's gonna be a deal where we focus on these points. I'm gonna think about current coming out of this lake the whole time I'm fishing today. The other scenario I'm gonna think about today is maybe finding isolated cover. You know, I see a park over here that's just gonna have a few bushes where I don't have hundreds of them, you know, for a fish to get in. I've just got 2 or 3, you know, in that mowed park over there. That may be a scenario. Or, you know, we did another video where the water is really high in the spring over on another lake in Oklahoma, and we talked about having backstops. You know, that's still the case in July. You know, if something's so flat, find steeper banks that have a backstop to them. So we don't have a lot of that in this creek, but there is a few places that maybe we have to find that to get some bites. But man, I'm looking forward to getting after it. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot yet here in July. The water's up to 81.2, still climbing. Let's see what happens. Dang it. What the deal? Oh, we got us a bite. We got us a bite. Yes. Man, the old elusive first bite of the day is always one of the hardest to get, and we got us a good one. All right, guys. Man, I started on this point, Main Lake Point, thinking current. I flipped these outside trees, and I tucked inside, started throwing a buzz bait on a hard tree, and we caught that good one. Thanks, bud. Thank you. Look how clear that water is. That is so clear for Uligal. So that's one thing, like when you get to the body of water that you're fishing, you've got to determine where they're at. You know, I always lean towards green willow trees first and foremost. I'll flip those. Buckbrush is secondary. I'll flip them in between. I have the most confidence in willows. That fish came off that. That's it's like a hickory tree right there. So back in there, you know, like, I haven't fished back in any, so maybe we kind of figured them out a little bit, but that's the whole key to what you got to do. And you know, I had to pick up a bait, you know, because there's so much stuff to flip. I couldn't flip it all. We'd be here forever. So maybe that is the ticket, the old buzz bait. Oh gosh, there's another one. Same tree. Oh gosh, and my bait's in the tree. Oh, I broke some guides. Oh, we'll leave that one in the tree and we'll just flip us a bait up there, see what happens. Oh man, another tree. I might get a little excited. That was a good one right there too. Get out of there. I got 2 baits in 2 trees, now 3 trees. Come on. That kind of tells me getting 2 bites back to back. Maybe there's some bluegill spawning or something going on up here. Destroyed my poor little bait. There's one challenge that's gonna be in here, trying to throw this buzz bait around in these trees. Oh gosh! I was just taking it out of the water and that one got it. Oh, what a cool bite. Holy smokes, man, we figured them out. Yes, yes, yes. We're back in here. The water's clear. Thank you, girl. Thank you, man. All right. Yes. Oh, it's so fun to figure them out and figure them out quick. I just got lucky, you know, with that bite on that buzz bait right off, you know, back in that stuff. Oh man, cool bite. The water's so clear, so I have to use that to my advantage, you know. With flipping, you know, you really think about it, you're only disturbing an area maybe that big around each tree. With a buzz bait, I'm able to cover water and they're able to see it from a distance. You know, normally this lake's not this clear. We got probably 3-4 foot visibility. It's 84 degrees, you know, so we're using this clear water, shade, all to our advantage, and man, we're catching some good ones. Yes. That's fun. It's like hand-to-hand combat back in these trees. Oh, guys, I need to do some waypoints. I remember in our tracking bass movement, I'm putting waypoints where we catch all these fish, so just drop 2 of them in right there. I had high hopes. I had high hopes. High hopes, but it wasn't. Dadgummit, got a little belly on me. We have moved. So we've caught those first 2 fish. I fished all the way down that bank, came back, and I've hit another point right over there by the boat ramp, fished all the way around it. Now I'm all the way back in the creek where we caught a lot of those fish in the fall. Just wanting to see if there's any fish back here. That's not the same fish we caught in the fall. That's a lot smaller fish, but we had a bite back here, so got to get me another bug. Put on there. Just got a creature hog. Cool little color, just green pumpkin blue fleck. I haven't really found another stretch like that first stretch where we had those 2 good ones and that 3rd blow up. You know, where I can get in behind those trees, get into that shade. I just haven't, you know, that's super shallow right in there. We'll keep looking. All right, so that's the flat where we really had the most success on the days that we were here, just the multiple, you know, that was it right there. So I'm gonna jump over there, fish those bushes going up through there and just see, do those fish live back in this back of this creek, or have they pushed on out, you know, being summertime? So in my mind, you know, these are the trees right here. We caught some really good ones here, a couple different episodes. And you know, again, we got 7-foot high water, so I've just pushed in. Got isolated bushes you can see underneath the water here. I hadn't got a bite yet. I kind of am leaning towards these fish have moved out, you know, to where we had those first few bites, you know, earlier today when we very first got here. I've got bait fish back here. It's not like I don't have bait, but still I should catch one. One thing I gotta keep reminding myself, you know, I've gotten in this stretch where I knew some fish were out here and I catch myself slowing down, and that is the biggest nemesis when the water's high. Do not slow down. You gotta think, you've only got so many bass in a lake. Now you've, you know, added all this water, thousands of more acres for those fish to spread out. So do not slow down. You've got to go quicker, 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 quicker. And here I am trying to slow down, trying to make them bite right here, knowing that there were some fish here, you know, earlier. And that is the wrong thing to do. Obviously, I'd like to try to find some more areas like where we had those first 3 big bites. But something else in the back of my mind, I know this water's coming down. I know there's some current going through the lake. I want to try the main points of this just to see, it's just in my mind. You know, no matter how deep those willows are out there, I feel like there's a potential in a lot of lakes. When you got current going out, they're drawing it down. They pull out to those main creek points. So let's go out there and check to see if there's something out there like that we can fish. I know I said I was running out to the main lake, but I cannot pass up. There's just one little isolated willow tree. There's none all the way down that bank and really none down that bank. So there's gotta be a bass on this. If I was tournament fishing, I would never, ever pass this tree up right here. Gosh dang it, there was one. Gosh dang it, he got my bait. Look at that, he took my bait. I knew there had to be one there. I just need a little coercion. That should have worked. I had the bite, I just didn't catch him. Seems like the little ones are on these outside trees. Every time I come out to go around, I catch a little one, and that's on a 5-inch power hog. I mean, that's on a big old bait. Huh. Cannot argue with the results. All the big bites have been back in behind it. And I had to come out and around and try to get back in there again, and of course I'm gonna flip a willow tree on a 5-inch bait. Big power hog. Can't get back there where I need to be is a problem. This will be when I need to have my kayak out here, because then you could just get right back there to where they're at. Get a shot of these shad up here. Golly, what a bite! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That thing like took my heart away. I saw it coming. It happened with that much line out right there. Oh my goodness, that was a bite. That was like the best bite I've ever had. Like peacock bass fishing bite. Oh my goodness, look at this fish, guys. Look at this fish. Oh. I got goosebumps and it's July. That fish, I just said, man, look at those shad right there. That's why those fish are up here. And he just killed it. Oh my goodness, gosh, what a bite. I mean, I thought it was a giant carp coming at it. It was so dark and he just goes literally right off the Ghost trolling motor. What a fish. Yes, that's fun. Golly, that's a good fish. That's a really good fish for Oologah. I changed it up. I started throwing this buzzing frog that Berkeley makes, and just, you know, it's gotten up in the day, you know, we're about noon now, and it's gotten pretty quiet, no wind, no waves, water's really clear. And I just got, man, there's a bunch of shad in here. That's why they're up here. You know, I fished a lot more of this creek, and I came back here and then got inside. You know, we fished outside and then came in and went that way. So I came in and started going this way on this inside pass and immediately got a bite. So there's just something special about a topwater bite. You know, there's nothing better in July, and that was a good bite. Let's catch another one. Golly, that was awesome. You know, something to take away from this and to learn is, yes, that water's dropping really hard, but it doesn't mean those fish are on the outside edge of those you know, willow trees. All we've caught out there has been little ones, and those big ones are back in here. I mean, it's 10 degrees cooler in the shade, and they're back here. I mean, they're back up against the bank, and you know, we've talked about that in other episodes. You know, you got to get to the bank a lot of times, and there's no doubt today, because we've tried everything else. We've been back around where we had other bites in other episodes here, and they are back in here. That was so cool. He like to take my heart. I mean, we're back in the trees. When I get home, my wife's gonna have to check me for ticks. I mean, it's gonna be like, hey babe, I need to be checked for ticks. She's gonna roll her eyes, but we're back in the trees. Man, what a day. What a final bite on that big one, you know. Unfortunately, I gotta go. I got some stuff I gotta take care of this afternoon. But it was a fun day. You know, anytime you catch them on a topwater, explosions, they got it. I mean, every bite was like they were trying to annihilate that frog or that buzzbait. But I've got to close this Track and Bass Movement series out on this lake. You know, it was a challenge this year, just with the water low. They had to do some repairs on the riprap, and it kind of was like I was in a caged animal. It just wasn't very big, especially with that water lower than I'd ever seen it since I've lived here. I want to do this series again, though, on another lake here in Oklahoma. We'll try to figure that out. You guys give me some suggestions. I'll throw some at you guys, and we'll just find another lake that's got a lot of bass in it. It's maybe a little bit more stable, a little bit bigger, that allows me to you know, fish 4 or 5 hours and not do circles in the same creek. You know, I get kind of fed up with that. But with that said, let's pull up here in the shade. I want to do my power stop breakdown, show you why I chose this frog over another one, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, guys, here's the power stop breakdown. You know, one thing to keep in mind, if you're on your lake or any lake that's flooded like this, you've got to cover water. A couple times today, I tried to make those fish bite in areas that I had bites here in the past. Really slowed me down, really got me behind. You've got to put baits on that you can move, and there's really no better bait than a buzz bait. You know, we didn't start till about 9 o'clock this morning, but you know, I was able to catch some fish on that up in the shade. You know, had a little bit of ripple. I've got just that buzzing speed toad on the back, you know, just on a head knocker buzz bait, 50-pound braid, a 7.4 medium heavy rod, and a high speed reel. No trailer hook needed. You know, when you're throwing it up in this kind of stuff, yeah, you don't want one. It's gonna cause you a nightmare. Then I switched over to this beaten paddle frog, and the reason was it's just so much more weedless. You know, trying to skip it back under these trees, bringing it over these logs. It was a lot more efficient for me up tight in these situations. Again, I got that on 50-pound braid, just a weighted belly hook. I've got it on a 7.3 medium heavy rod. I'd really prefer to have it like on a 6.9 medium heavy or 7.1 medium heavy, just something easier to skip back in these trees. And if I was coming back tomorrow, I would change that up. But I got it on a high-speed reel, you know, something I can just cover water, take up that slack. Color doesn't really matter. I throw black or I throw white, I throw green pumpkin. I don't think it's truly matters. I did catch a few smaller fish just on that power hog, caught a couple on a creature hog, just a 4/0 hook. If you're flipping this stuff, always err on the side of a heavier weight. You know, you gotta cover water. You gotta get your bait down through these thick cover, the thick trees, the bushes. You know, err on the side of heavier. Mine's a 3/8 ounce. I could have gone up to half, you know, it would have gone down through that stuff better. 25-pound Bass Pro fluorocarbon, a 7.6 heavy action rod. That was my flipping setup. You can see I got stuff everywhere in my boat, just sticks, you know. That's the challenge, just trying to find areas that you could get back in here to the shallow water. You know, a kayak would be the best thing for this because you can slip in through here very easily. Those fish were relating to openings though. You know, they wouldn't be in the thickest stuff. They were in areas that I think they can feed, you know, out in little openings back in here. They weren't necessarily relating to a specific tree or a bush. They were just in those areas that was a little bit more open. All right, one last thing I want to show you. I want to show you my trail. I want to show you where this all went down here on Ulagal Lake, tracking bass movements. So I started, you know, I kind of started out here on this main point right here. I really thought that would be a good area, thinking of current. Really didn't do anything, and then it turns to a bluff. I came back to the back, fished a couple points back here, got back here to where we caught those fish, you know, in those earlier episodes back here. Caught one little one back there. It just wasn't very good at all. Started fishing my way out, then I got right in here to an area where I was able to get in behind, you know, these trees and get back in here and, you know, caught those really good fish right there. I came out here, fished another main lake point thinking about current, and tried another main lake point over here, and then tried a isolated willow tree right there at that campground. But that's really how the day went down. It was kind of odd. I did not get any bites here in the back, you know, where we had all those bites before. You can see all those waypoints from the previous events. You know, maybe I should have gone back a little further. I don't know, but I didn't. My trail actually is not showing up. Huh. I fished right down this whole stretch all the way around there for whatever reason. That trail is not showing up. It is on this one though. You can see it right there. You can see I fished all the way around. Came all the way around. I did catch one on that point and then fished all the way back out, going that way, all the way down through there. So you can see that's where I fished that isolated tree. Then I just started fishing these willow banks coming out this way. So there's where some of those better bites were, where I was able to get in behind them, still middle of the creek. Didn't have any bites out on the main points, but there really wasn't very good main points on this creek, you know, having that main current going down through this lake. But guys, I appreciate you following along. This was a fun series. I want to do it again. I think it'd be really interesting. I think I'll learn a lot from it. I just want to do it on a body of water that's a little bit bigger, a bigger creek, something that gives me a few more options. It was monotonous. It was always the same thing kind of in here, and there's just not a big population of fish in Ulagal right now. So we need to do it on a lake that's a little bit better. So looking forward to doing it again. You guys leave me a comment. Be sure you subscribe, guys, and tune in next week. We'll be out here doing it all over.